You ever have one of those moments where life just sucker punches you and you're not sure if you're supposed to laugh, cry, or just throw something at the wall? That's exactly how it felt the morning I found that note on the kitchen table. 7 years of marriage gone in 2 lines, scrawled on a sticky note. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. No warning, no late night fights, not even the decency of a proper goodbye, just that tiny square of paper sitting beside my cold cup of coffee, and suddenly everything I thought I knew about love, family, and who I was just kind of evaporated. Yeah, that happened. And before I could even catch my breath, the silence in my house was thicker than concrete. For weeks, maybe months, I tried to will that note into saying something different. I must have read it 100 times, like if I squinted hard enough, maybe there'd be a secret message on the back that made it all make sense, but spoiler alert, it never changed. What did change was me. I started waking up every morning with a new ache, not just in my heart, but in my bones. It was like my body remembered every little hope that had slipped away, every plan for a nursery that never happened, every anniversary dinner that turned into leftovers alone at the table. I was 35, divorced, childless, and honestly just tired. Who was I without someone to take care of? But here's the thing about hitting rock bottom. Sometimes you land somewhere you never expected. For me, that place was the shabby rec room of a child welfare center. Volunteering there was supposed to be a distraction, but one afternoon, everything shifted. I met 5 brothers, all under 10, sitting together in threadbare clothes, wide-eyed and silent as ghosts. Their parents had died in a house fire, and their only family left wanted nothing to do with them. I heard someone call them a package deal no one wants, and I swear something in me snapped. Those boys! Henry, Kenneth, Joshua, Joseph, and the littlest Divine. They looked at me with a kind of hope I hadn't felt in years. Not the shiny kind you see in commercials, but a gritty, desperate hope, the kind you get after you've been let down too many times. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay awake thinking about all the ways my life had blown up, how all I'd ever wanted was to be a mom, and now here was the universe dropping 5 little broken hearts in my lap. I didn't have a lot, a tiny house, a bank account that squeaked every time I looked at it, no partner, no village to help, but I had love, and man, it was burning a hole in my chest, just waiting to be used. So let me back up a sec. I'm not saying I knew what I was doing. The paperwork alone was a nightmare, and suddenly my world was filled with school meetings, doctor's appointments, and shopping trips for clothes in 5 different sizes. First came Henry, the oldest, shy, shoulders up to his ears, but he'd stand in front of his brothers like a little lion if you so much as raised your voice. Kenneth came next, the thinker, always watching, always calculating. The twins, Joshua and Joseph, were pure chaos. If you left them alone for 5 minutes, you'd come back to a flooded bathroom or the living room walls covered in superhero stickers. And Divine, just 5 cheeks you couldn't help but kiss, clinging to my leg like a life preserver. Those first years, pure madness. We were always broke, school fees, overdue, refrigerator on life support, and more than once I had to get creative with ramen and peanut butter for dinner. Furniture got broken, knees got scraped, and there was a stretch where the clinic staff knew us by name. Teen years hit like a wrecking ball, slamming doors, shouting matches, mood swinging like a pendulum. But there was so much laughter, too. Rainy nights dancing barefoot in the yard. Sunday mornings packed into the living room singing old gospel songs while the rice boiled over on the stove. I taught them how to tie ties, how to say sorry, how to fry plantains without burning down the house, and somewhere along the line they taught me how to live again. I wasn't perfect, far from it. There were nights I cried on the bathroom floor so the kids wouldn't hear, nights when I worried I'd ruin their lives and mine. But love, real love, isn't about getting everything right. It's about showing up again and again, even when you're scared out of your mind. And then, like something out of a movie, my boys started to shine. Henry scored a scholarship to college, the first in his class to make it that far. Kenneth launched a tech blog that blew up overnight. The twins started sewing clothes on the kitchen table, selling their wild designs to anyone who'd buy. Somehow their little brand took off, and soon they were dressing half the neighborhood. Divine, that quiet little boy, turned out to have a voice that stopped people in their tracks. Music teachers came knocking, and before I knew it, he was performing in front of crowds singing about hope and struggle and the kind of love that never gives up. The house got quieter as they grew up and moved out jobs, schools. Some even left the country for a while. But no matter how far they went, they always came home. Every holiday, every birthday, the old place was full of their voices again, feet pounding on the porch, laughter echoing through the hallways. I never asked for anything, never needed to. Seeing them alive and happy was enough. Time doesn't slow down for anyone. My hair turned gray, my hands grew stiff, but my heart that stayed young, especially when I saw them all together. I watched them turn into men, real men, the kind who stand up for what's right, who take care of their families, who remember where they came from. On my 60th birthday, I woke up to the smell of fresh coffee and bread baking. My boys were home, all 5. They made a racket, teasing each other, raiding the fridge like they were still kids. Then Henry, always the ringleader, handed me this cloth-wrapped bundle. "We've got something for you, Mama," he said, and there was that look in his eyes I hadn't seen since he was little. Inside the bundle was a big silver key. I didn't get it at first. The twins grinned and pointed outside where a shiny van was parked by the gate, full of glossy photos showing a new house, modern, bright, with a huge kitchen and a garden bursting with roses. Divine hugged me tight and whispered, "We built it together. For you. For all of us." And well, for once in my life, I couldn't find the words. My throat closed up and my heart just, I don't know, it felt like it finally came home. They piled me into the van, drove me through the city, and there it was, a house better than anything I'd ever dreamed of. They'd built it not just with money, but with memories. Every room had some little touch that belonged to us, a framed photo, a handmade quilt, the old wooden bench from our porch. And just when I thought my cup was full, they handed me a folder, thick, heavy. I opened it, and inside were papers for a trust fund, my name on everything. All 5 of them had pitched in, so I'd never have to worry again about bills, medicine, groceries, even a little startup cash in case I wanted to run my own cafe someday. "You gave us life," Henry said. "Now it's our turn to make sure you live yours." And I'll tell you, that's the kind of gift that knocks you right off your feet. Months later, my boys came up with a plan that made headlines. All 5 got married on the same day. One big wedding, 5 grooms, 5 beautiful brides, a party so loud I think the next town overheard the music. And you know what? The master of ceremonies didn't even start with the couples. He started with me. Before we celebrate these men, let's honor the woman who raised them. The whole crowd stood up, strangers calling me queen, photographers snapping pictures, journalists writing stories. I sat there in my royal blue dress, feeling like all the broken pieces of my life had finally come together. Now every Sunday my new house is overflowing again, grandkids racing through the halls, daughters-in-law making fun of my old recipes, the family louder and messier than ever. My neighbors call me the mother of kings. My grandkids call me Mama Rose. I just call myself grateful. You know, I used to think a good life meant getting everything you prayed for, husband, kids, a tidy little plan. Turns out life had something much wilder and better in store. I didn't just adopt 5 boys, I raised 5 kings, and along the way I found out I was a queen too. If this story made you feel something, anger, hope, gratitude, even just a smile, don't keep it to yourself. Tell me, what do you think is the real measure of family? Is it blood, or is it something you build together one tough day at a time? Share your thoughts, your own stories down below. Let's talk about what it means to find purpose, to love fiercely, to turn pain into something beautiful. I'll be reading every comment and I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Xin chào các bạn, mình là Trinh, mình phụ trách viết content. Trên đây là những câu
Vamos supor, você falou negócio sério. It is cold, yeah. Next one? Alright. Thank you, man. Hey, if you guys have any trouble, let somebody know. Please.
After the tree to hold on to. Yeah.
Yeah, they're